Morning, guys. How are we today? Let me just get comfy here. I've got my blanket. It's cold. It's cold here. Good morning, everyone. I can see a few of you in the chat. Thank you for coming in today. Let me have a look. Stephen Chandler. Hi, Stephen. Catching up. Going back to work after 6 months break. Ooh, that's going to be hard. Good luck to you, Stephen. Hi, Minikin. Hey, Jonathan. Thanks for watching my storage video. And yes, I did speed it up a little bit in some parts because, nobody wants to see me taking that long to make a shelf. They can be tricky little things to build, but as long as you get everything going up the same direction, you're doing okay. Hey, PVP. Oh, who else is in here? Hey, Rod. Rod's outsourcing today, so he won't be in here very much, but good luck, Rod. I look forward to seeing what you buy. Hey, Ian. Got two Ians in here, so hello, Hurricane Ian and Tat Doctor. Hey, Sherry. Merity's here. Hello. You love the front photo? Well, I don't know. Like, honestly, that's how it is some days, isn't it, with kids? Like, you literally just, your hair is like, what do they say in America? I'm a hot mess or whatever. And like literally some days, like I just look like a frazzled. Obviously, if I'm coming onto a live, I make time to do my hair. But, on an everyday basis, pretty much like I look like hair everywhere. Like some days I look like I'm about to rip everything apart. Like, so I kind of wanted to just, keep it real. And like some days that's exactly what I look like. Hey, Braun. Twig, I just saw a new name. Twig and Lynn and Alice. Hi, Alice. Thanks for coming back, Alice. Michaela's here. Lainey's here. Dave's here. Hello, everyone. Okay, so today I kind of wanted to just, talk about what it's really like being full-time as a reseller, because I don't know, like I feel like sometimes like as resellers we look like we've got a bit of a, I'm not going to say a glamorous life, but like we look like we've got this really, really fun life. Like we just go to charity shops and we source a few times a week, and we get to spend money and buy cool stuff. And the reality of it is that's only a very small chunk of business is going to find the stuff. And also once you've sourced for a long time, it's not always as fun. Like, yes, it's fun when you find something that's really cool and you've got that thrill of the thrift, but a lot of the time it's still just a weekly chore going and flicking through the same racks of clothes. And you've really got to hunt. You've got to look and look and look to find those really good items that give you that thrill. I mean, most of the time the stuff that we're picking up, we'll go, oh, that's good, put it in the basket, but it's not giving you that super thrill. But I don't know, I kind of feel like sometimes we've got this like maybe it looks easy as well. Like we just go to the shops, we buy stuff to sell, take a photo of it, whack it on eBay, and voila, we've got all these orders. And that's not the reality of it. And I think working at home with kids is challenging for anyone, not just a reseller. It doesn't matter if you're a reseller or anybody that works at home. Like, it's super challenging to work at home with kids. And different kids at different ages changes your whole business. You have to kind of, if you're working at home with small kids, you have to keep evolving your business to change as the ages of your kids grow, because they've got, like, a newborn baby has different needs to a 4-year-old who is demanding in a whole different way. So you have to kind of keep progressing with your business if you've got kids. And I've worked for myself at home for 20 years, and I've got 4 kids who are now aged 10 to 19. So I've been through all the different ages of working at home and trying to juggle kids, and like every single age is tricky and it's hard. And you know, I don't want to give a false expectation that I've got this really fun cruisy life where you know, I just go and source, whack it up on eBay and it's real cruisy, because reselling, I probably put more hours in than any other business I've ever done. And, you know, I would think that I'm doing at least 60 hours a week on my reselling business, and trying to fit that around kids is a juggle. And my kids are bigger, so it's not like they're clinging off my leg, needy like that anymore. But as a mum, I still have duties and responsibilities that are still the same, whether or not you've got small kids or older kids. And I think it's just trying to find, you know, the basic reality of working at home with kids is it's hard and it's challenging. However, there's so many positives that come with it, and I wouldn't change it for a thing. I would rather juggle my life and, you know, make that work so that I have this opportunity. I feel so lucky to have had the opportunity for 20 years to be home with my kids. You know, I've been able to attend all their assemblies at school, whenever they've been given awards at school, to musical concerts during the day, to afternoon tea at the school with other mums, all that kind of stuff. So over the years, you know, I feel really, really blessed to, you know, to be able to work at home. But the hard truth is it's not easy. And, you know, it's really hard to separate work from family life, because especially in a reselling business, because I feel like you just bring in so much stock that it starts to, unless you have a really good organization system, it starts to kind of take over your family life and your house and your work. You know, like, I have stock, you know, my whole lounge room here is converted to an office. I have stock going up my hallway. I have a clothes rack in my lounge room. My whole garage is covered in stock. So it does kind of start to impact your family life. And, you know, it just can be so tricky. But I'm just going to come in here and check this chat because I'm behind. This is me today, the toddler at home from daycare with a runny nose. I have to say, none of my kids did daycare except for the fourth child, and she just did a few days a week. And it was just because by the time I got to the fourth child, I was just running off my feet. I was doing full-time photography at that stage, and it was very time-consuming, like editing. I needed to be quite focused on the computer while I was doing a lot of the editing, and I just found it really hard managing the toddler, as well as juggling the bigger kids with school and all that kind of school activity stuff, as well as a toddler. So when I had my fourth child, the other three were all at school. So I just had this one baby kind of left at home, and I did kind of struggle with that because, you know, I had three kids in another stage of life, and then I had this little toddler. So I ended up putting Maisie into daycare. I think I just started off at 1 day a week, and then maybe I went to 2, and I think I got up to 3 days with her. But it made such a difference just having a few days break, having her into daycare by the time I had 4 kids. Like, it just really helped me out and gave me a bit of time to breathe while the other 3 were at school. However, one thing, like what you're saying there with the runny nose, I reckon for the first 6 months of daycare, 9 months, she was sick non-stop. And at that time, I was also helping my brother out in his real estate business, and I was doing some property management for him. And holy moly, I was having so many days off because she was constantly sick. And so then I was still trying to juggle everything else. And I think in the end, I stopped working for my brother because I just was getting too stressed about the amount of days that I was needing to take off. And daycare is a godsend, but then it's also like got its own problems that come with it as well. Hey, Gimbal. Hey Nick, you like my thumbnail? It's like that's my daily life. There you go. Bron's saying, try taking a toddler to the op shop on a sourcing day. It's fun indeed. I think you have to be prepared, don't you? If you have to go sourcing, with a child, you have to be prepared, don't you? They're going to want to play in the kids section there, aren't they, with the little cars and the books, which then makes it hard for you to be sourcing properly. I think, you have to kind of get smart about it. I think if you're going into a shop with toddlers, you've got to have to pack them some snacks, maybe some books. You've got to give them something that's going to try and keep them occupied. And, maybe even if you can look at trying to find like a friend to help you out and have a child for an hour, or maybe a grandparent who can just babysit for an hour or two while you go out, and then just do some fast and hard sourcing, because it really is difficult to take your kids shopping. Especially, it's hard to take them shopping at the best of times, but it's really hard to take them when you're specifically looking for good items to sell. So I don't envy anyone having to take their little kids op shopping. I know that my bigger kids, they don't like coming. They're bored. So however, they're quite happy if they do have to come with me. They will sit on the chair. They'll find a chair in the op shop and they've got the phone or whatever. But my kids are a bit older, so that's kind of okay. But it's so tricky. And when my kids were toddlers, I wasn't reselling. I was doing other businesses. So I wasn't kind of sourcing that way for stock. I used to have the party shop online, so I used to source online and order I used to ship my stock in from America. So, I had different juggles sourcing and looking for stock rather than taking my kid with me. Hey Laura. Yeah, I try not to take mine sourcing as possible. You'll probably be so much more productive. If you do an hour sourcing with kids and an hour sourcing without kids, you'll probably get so much more done and source better. So sometimes maybe it's even worth waiting to the weekend when maybe you've got a partner that can just have the kid for an hour while you duck down to the Vinnies, or like I said, try and find like a friend that might have your kid for a play date, and then maybe you can have their kid for a play date, so you're kind of almost switching. Hey, Susan. Hey, Jennifer. Where are we? Life is less flexible when you're working out of the house full time. And I think this is the thing. It can seem really appealing. Like a lot of people go, oh, I'd love to work out of my house and wear, I get to wear my pajamas all day. But I don't like, every now and then it's nice to wear your pajamas all day when you're at home. But I don't know about you guys, but I find if I have pajamas on and slack around, then the rest of the day I actually slack around. Like sometimes you still got to, even if you're working from home, you still got to get up and show up and dress to work almost. And that's why when I'm at home, I'm always wearing my runners, because like if I take my shoes off and just have like bed socks on or something, like I just seem to walk around a little bit slower. Whereas if I've got my runners on, like it's like I'm in go, go, go mode. So, like I start to move faster, and it's the same as if I put my leggings on, like I'm kind of in that mode, like not that I'm going to the gym, but I'm in that mode to work out or mode to work. Whereas if I've got my pajama pants or really sloppy tracksuit pants, then sometimes I feel a little bit more like I don't know, just like less productive, I think it's all nice to say we want to just stay at home with our kids and wear pajamas, but it doesn't always happen like that. So I don't know. I think I've written down some points here that I think is really important if you've got kids and you're trying to work full time. One, you've got to focus on your priorities. So you know how they always say I think there's lots of books that will say, write your to-do list and focus on the 3 top priorities for the day. I think that's great. But sometimes if you've got kids, you literally only can focus on one thing. So try not to have too many expectations of yourself. If you're a work at home mum and you've got small kids, do the best that you can. You might literally not be able to put 40 or 60 hours into your business if you've got small toddlers, because then you'll just be working like crazy hours while they're asleep and you'll be just exhausted. So I would say focus on your priorities and eliminate some of those priorities. Don't try and do too much. Don't put too much pressure on yourself as a work at home mum, whether or not you're full-time or part-time. Like, it's not a race, and like, enjoy the kids while you've got them at home, because honestly it goes so, like, my oldest 19, my son's about to turn 18 in 2 weeks. Like, it's just gone so fast. And then like, honestly, when they say blink and it's gone, it is gone. So enjoy those kids while you've got them at home, and just, you have to learn to work around them. So obviously when they're sleeping, you're going to be able to work, you're going to be able to work the best while they're asleep. However, it's quite often you put your kids to bed and you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I'm going to sit down now and have a cup of coffee. And then you lose all that productive time. But I just think if you can make a list of your priorities and then focus on one of them, like, don't try and focus on too much while you've got kids to focus on during the day as well. So set your priority, whatever your priority is. If your priority is one day to photograph for eBay, then as soon as you get a spare second, whenever the kids either asleep or you've got them occupied with an activity or something, then get in there and photograph. And then the next day it might be listing. Your priority might change. You've got your photos there now on your computer. Your priority now is to list. So when the child goes to bed, you list. I think you've got to set what your priority is for the day, and don't try and do too much. Sometimes if you're trying to go, I'm going to photograph today, I'm going to list today, I'm going to sort my stock today, and boom, 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 and next minute you've got nothing done because you've got caught up with these kids. So set your focus and your priorities on maybe just one thing for the day. If you can do 2 or 3, that's fantastic. I wouldn't try and do any more than 3. I have trouble now even focusing on more than 3 things as a priority. My tip would be to always focus on the priority that's going to make you money, because we're in this to make money. So, my tip would be that your main focus should be around what's making you money. However, I'm fully aware that there's other parts to running a business, like organizing your stock, cleaning up, all that kind of stuff, which doesn't actually make you money, but it still needs to be done. But, you might be able to clean up with your child helping you. Oh, little Johnny, can you pick up this thing and put it over here for mummy? Or, whatever. But while your kid is asleep or busy with an activity, you have to be focused on getting stuff done that's the most important and that you can get it done fast. Because when you've got kids, you've got smaller time blocks. You don't have 6 to 8 hours. Like, my kids go to school, so I have that kind of 9 till 3 where I can dedicate and focus a chunk amount of hours. When you've got a toddler at home, you might only get 1 hour or 2 hours while they're asleep, and then the rest of the day you're kind of juggling around them. So, 1, focus on less. Smaller focuses, things that are actually achievable, and just prioritize the things that you focus on. Where are we? Okay. So how they also say the early bird catches the worm? I think it's true with kids. If we can get up a little bit before the kids in the morning, you're going to get some quiet time. And, there's there's a lot of motivational people, like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee. There's a lot of them that believe in like the 5 a.m. club, where you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and for those first couple of hours of the day, you're so much more productive. And I totally agree with it, because when I do get up early in the morning, I can be super productive. There's no noise in the house. There's no distraction. I'm not talking to people as much on Facebook or whatever, because most people are asleep. So when you can get up early in the morning, there's less distractions. So you might be able to even just wake up like an hour beforehand, but get so much more work done in that hour. Now, I'm terrible because I'm not a morning person, and I really do try sometimes to get up early, and some days I just can't do it. Like I do try, and I go through stages, and then I can't. Like I love it. If I can get up at 5 o'clock on work, I get heaps done. But for most days, I can't actually wake up before 7 o'clock. And so then by the time I get up at 7 o'clock, I'm kind of getting myself ready to then take the kids to school by 20 past 8. So I'm not getting actually any work done. Whereas if I do get up at like 5 o'clock and can knock off 2 hours of listing, then there's 30 items already in my store before I would normally get up. Hey, Grant. Let me see. Can't see. So another thing that I used to do when my kids were smaller, which might help you guys, is I used to set up little like snack stations in the fridge. Because one of the things that kids do constantly is ask you for food. Sometimes you just feel like you're constantly making them snacks or sandwiches or getting them drinks or food. So I used to set up like a little snack station, and I would have little chopped up bits of fruit or crackers or cheese or whatever. And, you can put it up on the bench, or you can put it in the fridge if there's stuff that needs to go in the fridge. The kids just come and pick all day, like whenever so they're not coming to you as much for those snacks. So definitely I used to find little snack stations, multiple drink bottles around, so that you didn't have to get up constantly and be making them drinks. And the other thing that used to work really well for me was like little activity stations. And I wouldn't actually set it up as like an activity where I would say, okay, kids, we're going to go do Play-Doh now. Just put it out and leave it on the table. And you'll find that the kid, if you say, oh, we're going to go play Play-Doh now, they don't actually want to, or their attention is somewhere else. Whereas if you just kind of have things set up, you'll notice that they start to just kind of walk over it to them at their own will, and then they start picking and playing. So you can set up like a Play-Doh station. You can set up like a Lego station. I know Bron, her boy, can sit there for like an hour or two and just build with the Lego, which is fantastic for her, because while he's happy playing with the Lego, she's busy getting stuff done. So I think if you've got these stuff out, one of my boys used to play with those animals. I think the brand is called Schlucks. Well, I can't even say it, but those good quality little farm animals and zoo animals and stuff. And I used to have a box of them, and he would just spend hours setting up these animals all the way around and playing with these animals. And those animals were a godsend to me, because he was just more than happy to sit there for so long playing animals, and I could get work done. And when they were babies, I used to have those exersources. I don't know if you have the exersources where you live. There's like a round thing, and the baby sits in the middle and can turn around and play with different things. And I used to take that exercise in with me in all different areas of the room, even in the shower. Like the baby would be quite happy in this exercise, and I would find that I could get some stuff done knowing that the baby was contained, but also enjoying what they were doing and could see me. So having those kind of things that you can move from room to room where you need to be and keep occupied is awesome. Hi, Scott. I'm not sure. I don't know what's saying there. Okay. The other really important thing as a mum is you need to just control the controllables. Not everything can be controlled, and not everything goes to plan. So don't beat yourself up for it. Some days I would have days when I worked at home and I would be like, I'm gonna accomplish all this, and then nothing. I would get absolutely nothing done. And you just can't beat yourself up on it. It's part of working from home with kids, and you're never going to have the same amount of focus that you do without kids. So it's just a juggle. And I guess when I did work from home, even though when I would say full-time I've worked from home for 20 years, it doesn't mean that I've brought in a full-time income for 20 years, because, like, I haven't had the full-time hours. Even though I've put in a lot of hours, a lot of it is chunk hours that are mixed, if that makes sense. Like, it's not solid working hours here and there. It's an hour here, it's an hour there, and it's an hour here. And yes, I might have done full-time hours, but because of the way that I had to chop and change things, I wasn't being as productive as I could. So maybe what used to take me 40 hours when I had the kids at home might only take somebody 20 hours if they didn't have kids interrupting them and stuff. So yeah, I never really had a full-time wage while I juggled small children at home. Like, it was just near impossible. And it's only really now that I'm starting to really, as the kids are older and with this reselling business, that I'm starting to really push for that full-time income now, because I am putting a lot of hours into this business. I do put in at least 40 to 60 hours a week. And if I'm going to put in that amount of hours, because my kids are at school now, so I could go and get a normal job. Like, my husband would love me to. I could go and get a normal job that's 9 to 5 and earn decent money with superannuation and things like that. But I'm used to working from home, and I like working from home, and I'm a little bit set in my ways now about working from home. I actually think it would be very hard for me to go back to the workforce now and work for somebody else, just because I've been home for 20 years. Like, it's a whole different lifestyle working from home. So I don't know, like, where am I going with that? I've lost my train of thought. Good, there's a question. I've lost my train of thought. When my son was at school, he would do the packaging. We agreed on a set fee depending on the package size, and I just added it to him as a handling charge to the postage. That's so good. It's so good if you can get them involved in it, and you can get them seeing that what you're doing is an actual job. Get them to help you with packing orders. Get them to help you with maybe putting stuff away. Get them to talk to them about how Mummy's doing business and sometimes she needs the quiet time. And I think if you talk through it with your kids, then they just get used to it. My kids are kind of used to it. My daughter went for a job interview the other day, and I don't know why, but this job interview asked her what her parents did as a living, which I thought was a bit of a strange question. And she says her father is a carpenter, and then when it got to the mother, she was kind of like, my mother is a full-time reseller and YouTuber. I just thought, what a crazy thing. I said, why couldn't you say that I was worked on an e-commerce store or owned my own retail business or something? I said, it sounds so funny. I just thought they must have just been looking at her going, your mum? Like, I'm clearly not a full-time YouTuber. Anyway. Okay, so kids, I'm losing control of this love. Control the controllables. Schedule. Stick to a schedule. Like, kids need a schedule. We eat at this time. We have story time maybe at this time. We have a bath at this time. We have dinner at this time. We have our afternoon sleep at this time. So work out whatever your kid's schedule is, and then try and work out your business between it. Prioritize the things that are most important in the time that you're going to have that's less interrupted. Find activities through the day that your kids can be happy to do while you're still around. You still have to be around for them. You can't just shove them in front of the TV all day. You still have to be around for them, but you can juggle things. There's lots of parts of the business that you can actually juggle while you're around the kids. But you have to get that stuff that really needs the heavy focus done either while they're asleep, in the morning before they get up, for their day naps, or if you can do a daycare day once a week, and you have to use your time efficiently. And you'll notice that a lot of mums are really good at multitasking. And that's because we have to learn how to prioritize our time so that we can juggle it all. We just have to juggle it all. And dads, stay-at-home dads, same thing. So yeah, control the controllable, have a schedule, stick to your schedule, lower your expectations on yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself as a mum. Like, as a mum, it's actually a full-time job to be a stay-at-home parent in itself. Like, that is a full-time job. You have washing, you have cooking, you have nappies to change, you have shopping, you have to take kids to birthday parties, you have to buy presents for everyone, you have to go to school activities, and you have to help out at school fetes, and you have to, there's so much involved with being a mum, even when they're at school, but also just within the house. Don't you find that when you've got kids at home, it's just a constant mess? You feel like you're a full-time cleaner half the time. You're picking up washing, you're doing dishes, putting dishes away. You've got to sweep the floor because they drop crumbs everywhere a million times. It's tricky, and it's so tricky. Make sure you got drinks and snacks on hand, make up little snack bags. Mine used to love it if I'd make up a little plate with all different snack things, and, like I said, have some in the fridge that the kids can open the fridge and just go to. Bits of chopped up fruit, watermelon, rock melon, apple, banana, all that kind of stuff. Set up some activities for them to go to. You don't have to make it specific, we're going to do this. We don't want it so regimented that they don't want to do it, but just set them up in different areas of the room. I find that used to help me a lot. And, you do have to set boundaries within the family. Sometimes, you might have to work at night. You might need your partner to help you out if you've got one, and say, hey, I really got some important emails or paperwork that needs doing. I just need an hour of kid-free time. Can we shut the door and can I just tune out for an hour? And sometimes you've just got to ask for that bit of help. Ian needs some structure. Whether or not you got kids or don't have kids, we all need a bit of structure. We need certain times in our days where we do certain things. So my Mondays have become so hectic now that I've just said I'm not listing on a Monday now, because otherwise I would be going so hard all day and I'm absolutely exhausted, yet I don't want to sit up at night and still be listing. Yesterday, my day didn't finish till about 8 p.m. and that was with no listing. It's just crazy. So you've got to set yourself some boundaries, and, you can't do everything, but you do need structure to make things work and to make things productive. Hey, Patricia. Who's Patricia? Oh, there, Patricia Dakota. Hello. Yes, dads too, Pommy. Sorry, I don't mean to be excluding dads. I'm just talking, yes, if you're at home and you're at home, whether or not you're a mum or dad, if you're at home with the kids, it's tricky. And Rod, you know what it's like. Okay, so Rod, for instance, is full-time seller, and Rod's got older children. His kids are like my age, 19, 20. So Rod is constantly saying to me, oh, I have to go drop my kid at McDonald's. I have to go pick my kid up from his shift at McDonald's. I have to take my lad here. I have to take my lad there. And so even as they get bigger, our days are still being interrupted. I've recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've got my daughter now catching the bus home with my elder son. And it's made a huge difference just not having to do that pickup run in the afternoon now. So now I only have to do the drop off in the morning, and I've got the entire day. So she now walks over to my son's school, which is right next door, and he's older. He's nearly 16. So, she catches the bus with him, and then they come home together. They have a key. They come home. So if I'm out at the post office, or if I've decided to go sourcing in the afternoon, then they can still, they're fine. They catch the bus and they can come home. They've got phones. The older one's got a phone. So, just taking that out of my day has made like a huge difference to doing that pickup. But before, I used to kind of have to finish up my day around that 2:30, 2:45, and then I'd have to get in the car, and then I'd sit in that pickup line there at the school for like 20 minutes, and then by the time they would come into the car and we get home, it's like an hour, and it kind of interrupts the day. Whereas now I'm getting so much more solid chunk time, and I used to do all my sourcings in the mornings, whereas now I'm able to go out after lunch because I don't have to be rushed by 2:45 to be in that pickup line. So, if you can make little changes, obviously my kids are older, so, I'm quite happy now for her to be on the bus. Normally my kids don't start catching the bus until year 7, and she's in year 5. But because she is catching it with my oldest son, they're on the same bus, I'm happy for that. What are we doing? I don't know what you're all talking about. Let me have a drink. Wow. Righto. So is there anyone in here with small kids that has any tips for anyone trying to juggle this thing? Because I don't know, I just think one of the hardest things is you become really hard on yourself when you've got kids and you're working from home because you feel like you're not getting enough done. But also don't, if you're a mum and you follow me on Instagram and you've got small toddlers at home and you're trying to do reselling as full-time, and you're seeing me as a mum of 4 who's like, yep, I'm listing 140 things a week and I'm posting this many things and yada, yada. Just remember that I have a lot more chunk time now than you because my kids are older and I've got like that full school. I've really got that 9 to 4 as solid working hours. It doesn't mean I get everything done in those hours. I'm quite often here working at night. And, I'm quite often working after dinner still, like do all the dinner duty, and then I come back in here to work. It's just, this job feels like it never actually ends. There's always something to do or a question to answer, and it really is hard. You need to have boundaries. But, and some days, like, I am literally a frazzled mess. I feel like I'm trying to do a million things and, it's hard. And it's hard working from home because you're constantly interrupted by what's around you. So, for instance, even though there's nobody here in my house during the day, there's piles of washing to do. There's dishes from breakfast that nobody did. The floor needs a clean. The shower needs a scrub. There's, the dog needs to be let out a million times to go and pee because it's old. There's so many things that could distract me through my day. And I really try. I know sometimes I'm sure my husband comes home and just thinks, what has she done all day? Like, the house is as messy as when I left it. But I don't really think of I try not to think of my job now as I got to do the housework while I'm, trying to run this business. I'm trying to look at my eBay business now as this is my business and this is my full-time job. And now I actually want a full-time income from this. So I need to dedicate those full-time hours to it and do the dishes and the stuff after hours, like a person who would go to a job out of the home would do. Like, if I was working out of the home, I wouldn't be able to do the dishes or wash the clothes or scrub the floor or scrub the shower. Like that would all have to be done on the weekends or after I come home from work. And I'm trying to have that same mentality now. I'm trying to ignore the mess, and it can be hard because sometimes it's messy. Like I have basically 7 people. I've got my 4 kids and my husband, and then my daughter's got a boyfriend. So there's 7 of us here all the time. So there's a lot of traffic coming in and out of my house. There's a lot of stuff coming in and out of the house. There's a lot of dishes being used. There's a lot of clothes that need washing. Holy moly, the clothes, the washing never bloody stops. I could wash 2 loads a day and I'm sure I would still have washing there constantly. But it's I don't know. It's allowing yourself as well, allowing myself to let that stuff, like I don't have to have this perfectly clean house as well as trying to do the business. I have to get real. Some days I am a frazzled mess, and some days I absolutely flip my lid at the mess and go, come on, everyone. Like, where's the team? Everyone needs to help. But I don't know. Like, the truth is working from home with kids is freaking hard and it's challenging. But it's the best thing that I've ever done, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to do it for all these years. And I'm so grateful that now I can continue on doing it, even though my children are bigger, because as they're bigger, they've got different needs. And, like it's I'm still grateful that I'm here to be able to take them to appointments. And if somebody needs to go to the doctor or if somebody's sick, that I'm here. I'm still here, whether or not they're 5 years old and sick with the flu or 16 years old and here with the flu. I still want to be here with them. So I feel so grateful that I've been able to work from home all these years. But, frankly, it's not easy. And I haven't earned a full-time income while working with kids properly for years. My income has always been lower. It's always been secondary to my husband's, who's been the main income. Mine's just been kind of like the supplementary income to supplement all the extras. And, now it's getting to the point where I want more. And, I've done the hard yards and, I'm willing to put in more hard yards. But, it's only now, guys, that I'm going to start building towards that real full-time income, because, before I just wasn't able to do that working with kids. I just wasn't able to, like, not with 4 of them, like it was just too hard. What time do you finish at night and how soon are you asleep and do you get chill time? Okay. One, I've been really tired lately. I've been going to bed really early and waking up quite late. So I've been going to bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, occasionally a bit earlier, and I'm waking up at 7 in the morning. So I feel like I'm actually sleeping a bit too much at the moment. I'm probably sleeping 11 hours a night, which I think is probably too much. I want to get back to that 8 hours. But, yeah, I guess do I get a lot of chill time? Not really. Like during the day, I never watch television. I never sit down. If I do sit down for lunch, which is a sandwich and a coffee maybe, I eat it quickly. I eat it fast. Sometimes I eat it while I'm at my desk, at my computer while I'm working and listing. I'm still sitting up, munch, eat, like I'm not even having a proper break. Chill time, like after dinner, I don't do the dishes after dinner. I make the kids take turns in it. Like if I'm cooking, I'm not doing the dishes. Like I got 4 kids, they can do the dishes. So I don't know. I guess after I wind down at night, I like to grab a cup of tea. And, I'm not really big into TV, so I'd rather sit there and read a book or, scroll through Facebook or something like that. But I do get a little bit of chill time, but not much, to be honest. I don't get a lot of chill time. I'm in bed around midnight and up at 6:30. Do you know what? I would love to be up. I definitely would love to be up earlier, and I wish I could actually, if I could even stay up later. But you know what? If I stayed up later, I'd probably just work And then you've got that issue of becoming a bit of a workaholic, don't you, where you're just working nonstop. And I find it one of the hardest things about working from home is the separation and setting those boundaries of, I'm like a clock in, clock off. Okay, I'm clocking off at 7 o'clock at night, and I don't care. I'm not doing any more work after 7 o'clock at night. So it's setting, I can't do that. Like, I will sit here and go, if I was awake till midnight, I would have itchy fingers and I would be working. And then you just feel like you're spending your whole life working. So, but maybe I'm just spending the other half sleeping. But I definitely would love to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day. Like, if I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock, I should be able to wake up at 5 a.m., but I can't. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm so cold in the bed, and I can't. I've never been a morning person, but I'm not really a night person either. How do you personally remove stress during the day and relax? I don't. Okay, Rod. How do I relax? I don't know. Do you know what I've got? I've got one of those acupuncture mats. And if I really need to relax, I will go and lie on my acupuncture mat for 20 minutes or 30 minutes and put the music on and have some downtime. But I don't know. I don't really take a lunch break. Maybe relaxing for me is sourcing, because then I'm out of the house. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of like away from the mess. I'm away from the computer. So walking around casually around the thrift shop, that can be actually quite relaxing for me. Talking on the phone can be quite relaxing. Going out and grabbing a coffee in the car, even if it's through the drive-through. Yeah. So, Scott, that's funny, because I was a shift worker before I had kids. I was a shift worker. So I used to manage at McDonald's. So I was always doing like late nights, early mornings, and I didn't have a problem with it, but I don't know what it is. In the last few years, I've just got worse. Dwayne's up at 4:45. So Dwayne, interesting. Like, okay, so I would love to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So if you're getting up at 4:45 in the morning, do you have like a schedule? Like, do you get certain stuff done in that time of the morning, or do you just literally get up and chill? Like, what do you do at 4:45 in the morning? Like, I would love to know, like, do you have a schedule that you're getting certain stuff done in the morning where you're more productive? Yes, Rod, I know you get it. My missus sometimes says, come talk to me, because sometimes I go, other times I'm still working. It's definitely really hard to prioritize. I know that my husband thinks that I spend too many hours on this business for the money that it probably brings in, and I'm positive that he would prefer me to go and get a normal job with a normal steady weekly income. And it's just really hard because it's just not me. Like, I've done this for so long and I'm so used to it, and I'm not even 100% sure what kind of job I'd be qualified for, because, I mean, I know I've got lots of skills because I've always run my own businesses and I'm very business minded, but for certain jobs you need certain kind of skills, and without being in the work industry as such for that amount of years, it's very different. But I just can't imagine going and getting a normal job. And I don't know, I think I am a little bit of a self-confessed workaholic. Like, I find it very hard to tune off when I'm at home. There's always something for me to do. I also really love to learn and research. So, I love to sit here at the computer and find new things, research things. I've been doing a lot of research lately on eBay at different things that are selling, so that I can expand my knowledge, I guess. And I'd like to experiment with a few different areas of things, genres of things to sell. But, so I don't want to just go into doing that while I've got so much other stuff to list. So I'm just kind of doing a lot of research, trying to look at some different items that I might like to move towards selling. And I don't know, there's just always like, it's interesting. I could be sitting there researching on eBay. That's not actually, doing anything at that time for my business, but it will in the long run. It'll help me in the long run. But yeah, I don't know. I love to read and research, and I do find it hard to step away from the computer. And obviously we've got our phones on us all the time. So one thing about me is I don't have any emails on my phone. I can't be contacted by email on my phone. And I only have one of my stores for eBay that I check on my phone. The other ones I all on the computer. So I guess I try and do less work on the phone. I don't want to feel like I'm working on the computer, working on the phone, I try and keep the phone more of a social thing, I guess. Facebook, Instagram, talking, yada, yada. And I try and keep the desktop more for my work. So when I am at the desktop, I'm actually utilizing that time. Did Dwayne say what he does? Oh, okay. I get ready for work and then I do all my daily shipping. So Dwayne, you've got another job as well, don't you, besides reselling? So you're getting ready for your work, 4:45 in the morning, and then you do all your daily shipping. I'm up whenever the baby tells me I am. I don't really have a schedule. I just do what work I can and when I can. Craig, that's like, honestly, babies are so unpredictable, aren't they? Like, they can semi have a schedule, like they can semi go to sleep around this time or this time, but it doesn't always happen like that. And sometimes when you've got a baby, they're more needy than others, and sometimes they're more clingy. Like when I had small kids, there was some days where I didn't even get off the couch pretty much because they just want to cling to you. Do you know what I mean? So then you can't be productive. Like, you've just got to work. You have to work around the baby, and don't feel bad if you don't get everything that you want planned because you've been interrupted by kids. Like, you have to remember that your kids are your first priority and your kids are a full-time job alone. So, don't feel bad about it if you've been interrupted so much. Don't get to the end of the day and just feel like a failure because you didn't get much done or something. Like you do. You literally have to work around the kids, and, a whole day can go so topsy-turvy depending on a child, because like every day is different. Every day they're in a different mood. Some days they're more needy, some days they're more clingy, some days they're sick. Like some days they don't sleep. Some days they're meant to sleep for 2 hours in the day and they literally don't sleep. And it can be so frustrating and it can be so hard, and you just have to take every day as they come when you're working at home with small kids, and it's so hard. Like, hats off to anyone who has small children, works from home, and can bring in a proper full-time income, because I couldn't do it. I could only bring in like a part-time income because it just was hard. It was just so hard. For the past week, I've been up till last night. I've been up around 5 till 5 or 6 a.m. and then up at 8:30. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's some people in this chat, like I know Nick doesn't sleep very much. Ian doesn't sleep very much. Aid doesn't sleep very much. I don't know how some of you guys do it. Like, you literally sleep 4 hours a day. But I guess if that's what your body clock is, then that's what it is. I don't know. Mine's terrible. Mine's terrible. Relaxing is sourcing for me. I'm totally in the zone, having fun and loving life when sourcing. Yeah, I think that's true, Nick. I think for me it's very much the same. I don't have to, I feel like when I source, I don't have to rush unless I'm on a real mission where I want to get like a certain amount of stores done in a certain amount of time. But for the most part, I kind of go into the charity shop and just stroll around and, take my time and look through everything closely. And I do find that quite relaxing. I quite often am talking on the phone while I do it with the AirPods, or I'm listening to music, and, I just kind of tune out and do my own thing. And sourcing is quite relaxing for me. And I know, Nick, you're a bit of a workaholic as well. I know that you struggle to like sit down and rest. I don't know if it's like I've always wondered if it's some kind of like ADD thing. Like, do I have some kind of ADD, or I don't know, because I struggle to even just to sit down and eat lunch. I struggle to just sit there for 10 minutes quietly. I just can't. Like, I feel like I've got to be doing something. Like, and I think that's the thing when you work from home, you feel like there's always something to do. It's really hard to separate what you do. Yeah, then I go to work for the man for 8 hours. Yeah, Dwayne, hard when you're doing two, when you're working full-time as well as trying to do eBay on the side. Like eBay's, it's constantly there, isn't it? Like, I'm sure whether or not you do eBay part-time or full-time, you are constantly thinking about it, or whether or not you're doing it full-time or part-time, there's always something to do on it, isn't there? Something to do with your stock, sending offers, checking messages, checking sales, wrapping shipping. I get stuff done at 4 a.m. I'm still up working. I just can't believe it, Nick. I don't know how to do it at 4 a.m. I know it's peaceful and I know it's quiet, but I don't know. I don't know. I would like to get up at 5 o'clock, but I really would. Meredy, I did a normal job for 20 years and hated it, working for myself full-time, and I love it, even with the headaches it can bring. Yeah, I'm the same, Meredy. I really can't imagine life doing anything else. And, I'd actually rather struggle a little bit more financially, I think, and continue to do this than go and work for the man to bring in that extra couple $100 a week. Doesn't interest me. Normal jobs are for normal people and you don't qualify. Thanks, Nick. Are you saying I'm a weirdo? No, I honestly believe that there's certain people who couldn't do what we do. Like there's some people who go and work for the man that could not even imagine living the kind of scatterbrainy workaholic lives that we tend to live. And then there's us who can't imagine going and doing the 9 to 5 and sitting in a booth. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I can't go back to someone telling me what to do other than the wife. Well, wives are allowed to tell you what to do. Listen to the wife, happy life. Totally. Learning to do less is a constant struggle. Since leaving the traditional retail, I work way less, but I still struggle to find a sensible work-life balance. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like there's always something to do on the computer or something to move around, or I don't know, like it is exhausting. Like it is, the day just kind of escapes you and it's exhausting. And then when you sit down and you think, oh, I haven't even watched a television show in a week, or, what have I done to kind of tune out? Like, and even on the weekend, it was raining here and it was cold. So, we weren't doing anything except sitting around the house. And I just pretty much worked the entire weekend. And I think, well, I didn't even have a day off. So, yes, my sales have been really good and like I'm stoked about it. But yeah, sometimes we do need to take a bit of time off and set ourselves some boundaries as well. I used to be a night owl, but since I got a part-time job, I usually go to bed around 1 a.m. Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't know. If I wasn't working at the computer at night, I'm not sure what I'd be doing. Like, would he sit? What do you do? Watch television, or I don't know. Like, I'm not. I don't know. Andrea tells me what to do. I just choose not to listen. Nick, you're going to get yourself into trouble there. Listen to the wife. So anyway, I've rambled on here. I've lost a little bit of track, but, I guess I just wanted to talk about that it's not easy working from home with kids. It's not as easy as it seems. And, I do have a lot of mums that follow me on Instagram that are like trying to do this part-time and juggle small children. And, they've got kids pulling down their, they're trying to take photos on the mannequin and there's kids hanging off it. And, and like hats off to all you guys who are working from home with small children and trying to do this, because it is a hard job. And, yes, it does get easier as they start to go to school and you get a little bit more chunk time, but that chunk time still just gets filled with other family responsibilities and other family duties that just never stop. But yeah, I guess the moral is, don't beat yourself up if your kids distract you and you don't get as much done in a day. Just really try and, focus on, sit down and set your priority, what you're going to prioritize for that particular day, and try and get as much of that done. And if you don't, so be it. But it's definitely hard. It's definitely hard to make a full-time income reselling while being distracted with small children at home. I will 100% say that. You do need a lot of chunk hours to do this and make a good income from it full time. This is it's not an easy gig. It's not easy money. You have to put in a lot of hours to get good sales, and that can be really hard with kids. So, don't beat yourself up if you have some bad days and you don't get everything done. Rightio. Okay. I think I'm going to end this stream here and go and get some stuff done. Yesterday as well, I'll just let you know, guys, because Mondays are the busiest day for me of the week. They are very manic. And yesterday I decided to vlog my Monday. So yeah, I'm hopefully I'll put that video together and get it out for you tomorrow or Thursday. And yeah, it's going to take me a while to edit because I've got so many little bits that I have to pull together. But yeah, hopefully it'll be pretty interesting because, it'll just kind of show what a busy day looks like for me as a reseller, and, how the day kind of does escape me with all the little things that just need doing. And you can see how hard it would be to do that while juggling small children. And I'm very lucky that my children are all at school now while I'm trying to do this full time. But, it can be done. This is the type of job that you can juggle around your children. But, you might have to have lower expectations about, how much you're doing, and really try and focus on selling things that are got more of a higher average so that you can do less of it. Like for me, I'm a volume store, but my volume is okay because I've got children who go to school and I get chunk time to do it. So it doesn't mean it's easy. I've still got lots of other family responsibilities that come with kids, all the other mum life stuff. But it's a daily struggle. And the other thing I'll say is put the slow cooker on. It really helps. It really helps when you get to the end of the day and you don't have to cook dinner. So get the slow cooker on or do some batch cooking. I find that's a massive help for me. Woohoo, Nick. Nick's got another channel, guys, if you follow Nick, and it's on his favorite music band, which I don't know, Depeche Mode. And anyway, congrats to Nick. He's had a video that's gone viral now with 29,000 views, which is insane. He's just hit 1,000 subs on his channel, and he just needs to get his views up now. And Nick, put your channel in my stream there. And if anyone wants to go over and watch Nick's video and help him get his hours up, I'm sure he'll greatly appreciate it, because now he's hit the 1,000 subs, he can be monetized as soon as he gets his hours up. And with a video that's already hit 29,000 views, which is absolutely insane, be good if Nick can start making some money on that. Link your channel there before I go, Nick. Or Ian, link it for him. Depeche Mode, who are they? I don't know. Nick's not much older than me. He's only a couple years older than me, and I don't understand why he knows them so well and I know nothing. There you go. There's Nick's channel. Go and click over to it. Watch his interview that's now gone viral, and give him a like. Give him a new sub. And yeah, let's get his hours up. Depeche mode. Even after watching his interview, I watched his video. I still don't know who they are. Sorry, Nick. Must have been more into the Spice Girls. Okay. Thank you, guys. I will catch you all next week. Bye.